Morning, good morning. I hope you had a wonderful night and I hope that you woke up really fine, that you are in your right mind. We thank God for that because we know there are those who did not make it this morning, but He chose to give us another day at life, and we have to be very grateful for that. I hope that you are getting ready to start your day. And I wanted to do a quick devotion. I've been wanting to do a devotion on the fruit of the Spirit. And this morning, as I was reading Galatians, and I came to the chapter 6, and I was reading about the fruit of the Spirit. And I just want to read that passage with you, and hopefully, you'll find something that speaks to you this morning. Um, because we all need to know that God is the one who gives us those fruits that we cannot acquire ourselves. We cannot gain them to the flesh, because our flesh only give us things that are not good for us, things that are um worldly pleasure. But if we rely on the Spirit, if we rely on this, if we rely and we live by the following of the Spirit, we will we will not be doing sinful things. And I just want to share that with you. I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna pray with you and pray that you will have a wonderful day today. It is Tuesday. It is another day that God has blessed us with. So let's begin. Um, we're gonna read chapter 5. We're gonna read one verse at the first verse. It says, "We have freedom now because Christ made us free. So stand strong. Do not change and go back to slavery of the law." So God has blessed us. He has made us free. We are free. We have been set free. So therefore, we have to stand firm. We have to stand strong and do not change our ways by going back to the same way. So we thank Him for that. And we're gonna read from verse verse 13 and stop on verse 26. My brothers and sisters, God called you to be free, but do not use your freedom as an excuse to do what pleases your sinful flesh. Serve each other with love. The whole law is made complete in this one command: love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you go on hurting each other and tearing each other apart, be careful, or you will completely destroy each other. Because it is one of the greatest commands that God gave us, is to love our neighbor as yourself. And sometimes we might want to find out who is our neighbor. Our neighbor is not just those who live around us. They are not just our family members. Our neighbors are strangers we meet in the streets. Our neighbors are people we work with. Our neighbors are people who are all around us. They are our neighbors, and we must love them as we love ourselves. And it is one of the greatest commandment. It is also one of the hardest command for us to follow. All right, so we're gonna go to the fruit of the Spirit, and it says the Spirit and the nature and the human nature. So I tell you, live by following the Spirit. Then you will not do what your sinful self want. Our sinful self want what is against the Spirit, and the Spirit want what is against our sinful self. The two are against each other. So you cannot do just what you please. But if the Spirit is leading you, you are not under the law. The wrong things and sinful self does are clear. Is being sexual and unfaithful, not being pure, taking part in sexual sins, worshiping gods, doing witchcraft, hating, making trouble, being jealous, being angry, being selfish, making people angry with each other, causing division among us. These are the things that the nature of the human Our nature is to cause all these problems. Before the Spirit dwells in us, we tend to have this behavior. We tend to do these things, these wrong things our sinful self wants to do. It is being sexual unfaithful, not being pure, taking part in sexual sins, worshiping gods with doing witchcraft, hating, making trouble, being jealous, being angry, being selfish, making people angry with each other, causing division among people, feeling envy, being drunk, having wild and wasteful parties, and doing what other things like these. These are the things that we see in the world. People are jealous of each other. People are envious of each other. People are always angry. These are the things that we see in the world. These are the things that our nature, our human nature, tend to want us to do. But it says that we must live by the Spirit. Now that we learn, these are the things that the sinful want. But now it's written, it says, I warn you now, as I warned you before, those who do these things will not inherit the kingdom of heaven, God's kingdom. Those who do those things will not inherit God's kingdom. We have to turn away from these things because it's warning us. It's warning us that if we continue to do these things, we will not inherit the God's kingdom. But this is the Spirit. This is what the Spirit produces. The Spirit produces fruit of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. See the good things versus the bad things. Because if we find someone who is angry, we will not find peace there, because those things oppose each other. If we find someone who is hateful, we will not find love there. If you find someone with kindness, you will not find selfishness there. You see? So we have to do all the opposite of the things that the flesh wants us to do. If the flesh wants us to hate, we have to practice love instead of hate. I don't want to make this recording very long, so I'm going to quickly try to finish up. All right? It says, those who belong to Christ, those who belong to Christ have crucified their own sinful self. In order for us to belong with Christ, we have to crucify ourselves, because what the self wants is not what the Spirit wants. What God wants is not what we always want. Sometimes we want our own things, but it says we have to crucify our own sinful self. They have given up their old selfish feelings. You have to give up those feelings that you used to have. The feeling of hate, the feeling of jealousy, the feeling of being angry, the feeling of making trouble wherever you go, the feeling of causing division. These things we have to give up. We have to go against them. It says we have to give up our old selfish feelings, the evil things they wanted to do. We get our new life. We get our new life. We get our new life. The life that is right. The life that brings peace. The life that brings joy. The life that brings love. The life that brings patience. The life that brings kindness. The life that brings faithfulness. The life that brings gentleness, the life that brings self-control. We get this new life from the Spirit. So we should follow the Spirit. We should not be following our human nature, but we should be following our spirit. All right. It says we must not be proud and make trouble with each other or be jealous of each other. So we thank God this morning that He opened our eyes. He opened our eyes to let us know that we must turn away from our old life, from the way that we used to behave. Instead, we have to come and live in the Spirit. Be in the Spirit, because the Spirit brings joy. The Spirit brings peace. It brings love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. So I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to do a quick prayer because I'm running a little late, and I pray that this passage touches your heart. I pray that this passage speaks to you, because we all need the fruit of the Spirit. We all need these kind of qualities.